I hear you, brother. You know what it's like when you ain't got a trim, you're doing these things. You feel uncomfortable. I don't have one exact job, so I fall into the almost a category of entrepreneur because I do more than one thing. So I have my own coaching company alongside Andrew and Ryan, which is Kick Up Sports, which provides multi-sports activities in schools, activity camps, after school clubs, lunch clubs. We do all of that. That's the sports side of it. I also play football at the moment for Ashford United. I aim to play at a higher level, as high as possible, being a professional footballer, that being my main source of income. I'm currently learning about the property ladder. I've bought my first property, so I'm now working on that, and I'm building on other things. I'm 6'6". And the longest 90 for me means that you compete regardless of your situation. There is no excuse, you compete for everything. No. But Andrew, I was about to say in jail.
That's the truth, dude.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say, look. This is what this is about.
16, 17, got in a little bit of trouble, and I ended up in a young offenders institution. Somehow there was a five-a-side tournament thing they would kind of offer to the young offenders. I went in goal and I just done a madness. Like, kept the clean sheet while we was playing. All the boys were like, "Who are you? Like, what's your name?" sort of thing. It was like, and it was the feeling of respect of having so many people kind of ask you, like, why are you so talented at what you're doing? That made me feel like that was the position I wanted. I wasn't taught how to be a goalkeeper. And when I went in goal, I felt like, because I wanted to win more than anyone else, and I took responsibility of, if that ball went in the net, it was my fault and no one else's. It gave me that feeling of respect, so I wanted that over and over. So when I would play in goal, even to this day, I'm actually earning respect of my peers, firstly, because I want to be the best player on the pitch. And when I put in an honest shift, I know that people respect me for giving my best and being an honest player. So that was when I first realised why I wanted to be a goalie. Yes, I have. I started playing when I was about 17, 18 after I got into a bit of trouble. Went into Bromley College. And while I was in Bromley, I ended up being scouted because one of my peers, Reese Perara, one of the student boys who was on my course, he got scouted by the Nike Academy. He said, "Bruv, George, you're good." I've just literally put on a pair of gloves and I've gone in goal, and said, right, I'm going to rely on my instincts, I'm just going to play, see what happens. So I then went on trial with them, and I kept the clean sheet against Southend, and they told me it was the first clean sheet they had in that season, so they signed me on a 1-year deal. From there, it led to an opportunity of going on trial with Peterborough United, where I went on trial there. I wasn't given a contract. I've been invited on different trials with different clubs around the area. I've trained with loads of first teams in the area, like I've trained with Crystal Palace, West Ham, Barnet, quite a few conference teams and things like that. So my opportunity will come. I'm just working hard, and I believe it will happen. So I've always kind of prayed, and I've said to God, like, just give me an indication that I'm on the right path. So throughout my career, I've been invited into places of the level where I want to stay at. So I take those as signs to continue working hard. What does it feel like to be the leader of your best friends? What does it feel like to be the best football player in your primary school? What does it feel like to be someone that all your mates want to be around? It's the best feeling in the world. Regardless of whether I had the armband or not, it wouldn't change my mentality. Because I wanted to win things. You can never prepare. I think it's a tough one.
Take your time, innit?
Yeah, cool. Do you know what it is? When those things happen, you're never prepared. Sorry, one sec.
Take your time.
No, it's cool, it's cool. I'll go ahead. This is why I'm the player I am. Football is nothing compared to life experiences. The reason why I'm able to play the way I am is because of my life experiences and the fact that I don't hide from responsibility. When I lost my mum, it then led to me being in the wrong circle. Maybe I made the mistakes I made. I always believed that I was supposed to do positive things. I learnt a lot about myself while I was in that situation, because when you're in jail, you're in solitary confinement. That's what it's called, really. You're in a room, let's say, for 22 hours in a day. And in that time, all you've got is your thoughts. I had so much anger, I had so much pain. It affected the way I was to the world. I wasn't a positive person. I remember on my birthday, I turned 17 in there, and I heard Akon locked up, and I thought to myself, I'm better than this life. I'm better than this. This ain't where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be doing bigger things than this. This ain't for me. When it came to football, and I saw people who were quitting on the pitch, and I saw people who didn't care about the sport I loved, I thought, you don't get it. You haven't been where I've been to kind of understand that this is something I'm passionate about and I care about more than you. You shouldn't be in the same place as me. I want more for myself. And it's a very difficult position being a goalkeeper, because you rely on the people in front of you and you rely on them actually protecting you. But because I always focused on myself and I took responsibility for myself, it allowed me to become the player I am. Bloody hell, year 2, yeah. It's a long time. I'd love to banter it and say Franco, but Franco dresses in them Italian suits. Probably Chris. You don't ever get to see it because he's always behind the camera. If you saw what he wore when he was in Miami. Music massively. Everyone knows him as DONS Strapzy. I listen to his music because when I listen to people who come from a similar background as me and they have a story to tell, it motivates me. I use the people around me to push me. A guy like Andrew's been an entrepreneur. I don't think this guy's ever had a job. You can survive if you take the risk. We quit our jobs. And we said, listen, we believe in ourselves enough. And if after putting in 10,000 hours, we have shown no progress, go get a 9 to 5. And we took those risks. We said, right, believe in yourself and go and chase what you believe in and put in the work. 10,000 hours. I advise you to put that in. See where it gets you. Be willing to say no. Because sometimes that's what it takes. He's my little cousin, but he's more like my brother. Do you know what? I'm gonna leave it with Rihanna for now. I would agree with Ryan Palmer. One of the better players that I've played against at that time was Oxlade-Chamberlain. I feel like he made the level of football look pretty easy. The reason I've done that is based on the manager. The manager I'm playing for is Gary Alexander, and the reason why I followed him to that club is because I believe that loyalty is more important than money. You cannot just buy that. And with him, I understand his work ethic, his standards that he sets for all of us as individuals and as a team. And in terms of, do I want to progress in my career? I believe I can do that with him. Best goalkeeper in the world right now is David De Gea, in my opinion. Probably Andrew. Because if you want to think of the Dons, I don't even think of it as just the football part. I want you to think of it as, how does it all work? The hours that are spent developing this, from it being on the football pitch to it being on your TVs or on your phones, is different. Andrew and Chris are the underrated people at the Dons. Without them, you wouldn't have something on your TV. I'll be with Andrew on a Friday night where he's editing and he doesn't sleep, and we have a session on a Saturday at 9:30 in the morning. I've seen Chris on a monster drink on a Saturday night editing and absolutely exhausted while we're all playing UFC, or we're checking, obviously we're all trying to help, but that's his role and responsibility on that night. When it comes to the football, you're forgetting that this guy does the commentary, you're forgetting Chris does all the sourcing up, you're forgetting that Andrew still plays every game. There's teams who have all this YouTube stuff and they don't even play. They don't give their heart, they don't give what he does, and then you're going to tell me that that's not a contribution. They're underrated. Watch, we're in the year of the takeover. When you realise the effort that's being put in, they'll realise that they can probably have 2 or 3 people doing their jobs when they've been doing it as one person. So the work rate from them two is why I say they're the most underrated people at the Dons. We was laughing our heads off because we realised that we was potentially going to get the best players that we could possibly bring to the Dons. If you look at the humbleness of the players that we brought in, Ryan King, humble. Jackson Mutis, Dino, humble. Zach Ansah, humble. Goal scoring machine. You look at the way that they've just come into the team and they've just settled in so well. It's because of their characters, and how can you not be proud of that? If you look at the progression of the team, we look amazing. Learn your position, your roles, responsibilities, put in extra hours, be willing to make mistakes and learn from them quickly. That's true. He speaks with his heart sometimes, he doesn't think with his brain. He couldn't understand why I didn't want to play with my friends, and I told him, you lot don't take football as serious as I do. You just, it's not the same. Like, I'm turning up because I really want to progress in my career. I want to go to the next level. So when he said that, you'll never play for the Dons, I laughed in his face because now I'm the captain of the Dons and he doesn't play at all. When we won the league, that was the year that I lost my dad, and I said to myself that I'd make no excuses for not being successful. Football meant everything to me. It was my release, it was my way out, and I said I can't use losing my dad as an excuse not to be successful. So every single game I played in that season, I gave my all, and I said I will refuse to quit. It was a season which really, it took everything out of me, and it got to the last game of the season. We lifted the league title, we won the cup final, and I remember I just looked up and I just said, I saw my brother, I saw my sister, I saw Andrew, I saw Salvin, I saw Mitchell there in the crowd, and I said thank you, God. On a Saturday, it's structured, you're there to do a job, you know you're there to progress in your football career. With the Dons, I've got that little bit of that feeling of family. I've known Mitchell since I was 6 years old, Andrew since I was 6 years old. Salvin's my little cousin. Friends and family were all in the team. Like Ryan Palmer used to live, again, another person, used to live around the corner. Now married to my best friend's sister, Maria. Known Chris since I was 6. Like, it's that feeling of history. You don't have that at other places. We've all been through in each other's lives for a whole time. You don't get that at football clubs on a Saturday. I support Manchester United because of Andrew and Mitchell, to be honest.
Move on,
It's getting nuts. It's getting nuts.
Don starting 11. Me in goal. 3 at the back would be Salvin, Jazz, Franco. 5 across the middle would be Ryan King on the left, Nad on the right, Jack Eldino, Andrew, Gardy in there. Next would be Ryan Palmer and Zach Ansah up top. Franco, Nathan Palmer, Andrew, Ramel, Franco. I'm saying him again because he's a troublemaker. Doesn't give Donny a day's rest in that group. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Left out Mitchell as well.
Oh, fuck. Fuck Mitchell. Mitchell ain't trouble for me. Leave that. We get to a cup final, make sure you're there.